Welcome to the show. Today we are going to discuss about the judiciary. As you know, that judiciary is one of the three pillars of the state, and it is the most important pillar on which not only the justice system of the state relies on, rather the democracy and the political system itself drags its strength from the independence of judiciary. So today we will be discussing about the recent transfers that we have seen uh, in the judiciary, high courts, and that has also initiated a debate among the legal fraternity as well as in the political circles. I have a very prominent guest with me, a senior lawyer, Mr. Ashtar Ausaf. He has been the Attorney General of Pakistan. Thank you very much, sir, for joining. Kindly tell me that there's a debate going on that the transfer which has been made recently from Islamabad to the three high courts, that is a kind of attack on the independence of judiciary. What's your take on it?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that there is a debate. I'm sorry that this has become controversial. I'm sorry that these transfers have become talk of talk shows. This is something which ought not to have been a bane of discussion. Why? Because number one, it is what the Constitution says. Secondly, this is not the first time such a transfer is taking place. Thirdly, by the learned judges. They have gone to their respective high courts where they've been transferred to. They have, I'm told, that they have assumed their responsibilities. And a judge is a judge, wherever he is. A judge is to dispense justice in accordance with law without fear and favor. And that is what the bottom line is. And therefore, when the transfers take place, the transfers are the outcome of discussion by their own peers. The Chief Justice of Pakistan, the Chief Justice of the Federal Constitutional Court, senior judges of the Supreme Court of Pakistan, the member of the Bar Council, the two Chief Justices, one from whose court they were transferred, and the other ones who have accepted them. I'm told that the Chief Justice of Peshawar High Court showed his reluctance, but then he was overruled by the collegium. So it's not now in the hands of one person. It is not in the hands of the executive. It is not in the hands of a Chief Justice. It is in the hands of a collegium who exercise collective wisdom, looking at the exigencies of that transfer. So I think there ought not to be a debate on this, and it is only a storm in the teacup.
Well, Mohsen Akhtar Kiani was the senior most judge after the Chief Justice, and naturally the Chief Justice of, I'm talking about the Islamabad High Court. The three honorable judges like Mohsen Akhtar Kiani and Babar Sattar and Saman Rifat, they have been transferred, and as you know that these judges, have some kind of reservations on the judicial, the constitutional amendments, as well as the seniority and the transfer which earlier being made to the Islamabad High Court from other courts. So, do you think anything related to that pertaining to these transfers?
Well, it is everybody's right to disagree. It is everybody's right to say that they don't particularly like a particular law. They can say that constitutional amendments are not to their liking. And that's what democracy is all about. Democracy is when you have the right to disagree, and the other side is under an obligation to give you that leeway. Today's dissent can be tomorrow's affirmation. Today's opposition can be tomorrow's government. This is how it works. And that is what democracy is all about. In your intro, you said that the foundational aspect, the not just the foundational aspect, but also judiciary acts as a pillar of which holds the roof over the nations, over the countries, the roof of democracy. Now, they disagreed, yes, but have they not accepted their transfers? If they've accepted their transfers, I think the debate should end. And yes, there is an issue that I have with all this. I believe that the time has come when you have transfers from one court to the other. I think the president ought to, or the government can do so by legislation, and it would be the president's power to do so. Put together a seniority list of all the judges in all the provinces by reference to the date of their appointment. That way, I think this aspect of the matter can also be taken care of. So instead of just criticizing things, I think we ought to also look at the other aspects. And while we are criticizing, find ways and means of making amendments, making changes which are positive. And if a judge is an expert in a particular area, has an expertise in, for instance, taxation, or is an expert in company matters, there is no harm if he is transferred to another court and given that task. And is this transfer permanent? No, sir. They can be transferred back. They can always come back. They can be transferred to other courts. So, what is wrong with this when this is what the law of the land is? I think we ought to follow what the Constitution says, we ought to follow what the law says, and find ways and means of making corrections wherever we find that there are problems or there is something wrong. That's my take on this.
Sir, you have been at the Attorney General. Do you think that our judiciary in the past, the decision they made, especially regarding the constitutional matters or the political matters, uh, let us say that maybe last 10 to 15 years, um, taking a time, I mean, starting the time from His Excellency, the former Chief Justice Iftikhar Muhammad Chaudhry, when he was restored to the judiciary, the way he was removed during the late General Musharraf's time, and then restorations. And then onwards, we have seen the Chief Justice Saqib Nisar's decisions, and then followed by certain others. Do you think that the 27th Amendment was being brought by the parliamentarian because of the history that we had of the judiciary, which brought so many controversies in this country?
I'll go back to your intro and also what is really the how the structure of this whole constitution and the country is. Judiciary is one of the pillars. The other pillars are the parliament, the government, and they have their own affairs. Now, if judges sit down and say, we'll not wait for an election petition, we will take upon ourselves to send at least two judges, not judges, two prime ministers to their homes. and say that they are disqualified. When they take upon themselves to condemn a prime minister to the gallows, when they take upon themselves to go to the hospitals and throw plates in the face of the staff, when they do not do anything for the uplift of their district judiciary, when they concentrate on what kind of sewers should be laid, what kind of buildings should be built, what towers should be there. I'm referring to Nasla Tower. And also the towers or the buildings which were raised to ground in suo motu proceedings. Suo motu proceedings, look at the Constitution. The Constitution never gave them the suo motu. It was taken upon themselves. Therefore, I think the parliamentarians felt the need to take a corrective path. So this is a corrective path. They may have gone overboard. There is always room for correction. There is room for further amendments. And I believe that further amendments should be made to streamline all these things so that there is no confusion. Now, there is now a confusion which is going on as to which court has priority or supremacy on the other court. See, this is exactly what was the problem. Is the court supreme? Is the government supreme? Is it the parliament supreme? Or is the constitution supreme? The courts would say, we will interpret the constitution. We will tell you what you've been saying. I think now all these amendments are a reaction to that kind of a spate of suo motus, that kind of orders which sent elected people home. I think that is what really triggered this off. And time will tell us that these amendments need to be fine-tuned, and hopefully we will see better times.
Do you think that the judiciary in the past, it was, I mean, whatever uh, examples that you were referring to regarding the sending back prime ministers home, interfering in the matters of the government and the executives, especially matters regarding to the finances and investments and all that we have seen in the last 10 to 15 years. Do you think that at that time the judiciary was doing all that on their own, or there were certain forces or certain political elements which were influenced the judiciary to take such decisions?
My take on this, sir, is that a judge makes an oath to uphold the Constitution, to carry on with his duties without fear or favor. So if there was any fear, they could have resigned. If somebody was asking for a favor, they had the power to punish that person under contempt. I'm reminded of a great friend of the then president who was made the Chief Justice of the United States. And the president thought that since he had appointed the Chief Justice as the best friend of his as the Chief Justice, things will move smoothly. But when the time came, he ruled against the president, and the president had the audacity to say, I'll see how this is implemented. And yes, it was implemented. Now, that is the strength, the strength does not come from the letter. The strength comes from within. And you have seen judges who would not succumb to any pressure and say, no, we will not sit on the bench if somebody is trying to influence us. What is stopping them from doing that? In fact, those judges who were removed by Musharraf in the first round, they were then restored in the sense that their pensions, etc., were given, and it was deemed as if they had never retired. So times keep changing, and people should not change with the times. They should not. Law should be changed with the time. People should not change with the times. People should be taking a stand on principles that they talk about. They should walk the talk. That is what makes a judge. And a judge has all the securities in the world. And a transfer from one high court to the other does not diminish his rank as a judge, does not take away his jurisdiction as a judge, does not take away his right to pension as a judge, does not take away his jurisdiction to decide matters in accordance with law. And it is not. Transfer from one court to the other is not a punishment. It should not be reckoned to be a punishment. It is not. If somebody was to punish them, then 209 is there. Then the references can be filed before the Supreme Judicial Council. So what I'm saying here is that judges draw strength from the inner core. And that is what judgeship is all about.
Since there are cases, which are pending in front of the high courts and maybe lower courts, and then the superior courts, the Supreme Court, regarding the political cases, I'm referring the former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his lawyers. Most of the time, they complain that their cases are not taken up by the judiciary in time. Most of the time, they keep on delaying, and that is tantamount to the attacking on the freedom of judiciary, or judiciary is not giving the justice. So what's your opinion regarding all those statements, responses from Imran Khan's lawyers and PTI's lawyers?
Well, firstly, these are not political cases. Political cases would be where you are challenging the policy of the government, you're challenging the various administrative measures that one takes. The cases that you're referring to, none of them are political. They are all criminal cases. They are cases relating to corrupt practices, corruption. They relate to various aspects of financial impropriety. Now, in those cases, you will very kindly look at the various. I'm not taking any sides. I'm not counsel for one side or the other. But what I gather from the news reports is following. Number one, I've seen the emphasis is on bail only, and that's unfortunate. Our practice is now relating to interim orders. Why don't we, as lawyers, and I speak for myself as well, emphasize on early disposal, early decision of the appeals? But what do you see? You see the lawyers going to the court and saying, I've been engaged recently. Please give me time to prepare my case. And whose lawyer is that person? The appellants. Then the emphasis again is, and of course, it is for the lawyers to determine what they want to. I am not criticizing that. I have great respect and regard for all lawyers, including lawyers who are coming out and saying that justice is being delayed and therefore it is justice denied. Look at the other aspect. Justice hurried. Justice hurried is justice buried. And look at those piles of documents that one has to go through. And does one have a preferential right to be heard prior to those people whose murder appeals are pending, who are sitting in the death row? What about them? Are they children of a lesser God? I ask this question. See, if you contest cases on political lines, then I don't think you're doing any service to your client. And if the client is telling the lawyer to contest the cases on political lines, then he is not doing himself any favor. Cases are to be contested on the basis of record, legal arguments, and facts. That is what a professional lawyer does. I'm not saying that they're not professional lawyers. I'm saying that making comments, holding court outside the court, sitting on judgment of what the conduct of the court is probably not the best way of uh, handling somebody's case. But then I have respect for their strategy. Let them do so. Let them do whatever they want to. It is ultimately their case. I and you are nobody to make any comment on their strategies. But then I say that everybody is equal, and the people who are suffering incarceration and are in threat of execution, I think their cases should be heard. And a lot of time is wasted on making all these statements. Preparation of the case is what really matters ultimately.
In Pakistani political history, we have seen that there were cases against Asif Ali Zardari, the president, honorable president of Pakistan. There were cases against former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, his brother, the sitting Prime Minister, and the family as well. And today we are seeing that the former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his, colleagues, they are going through certain cases. And as you were referring that they are criminal cases, they are cases of corruption. And I think that the cases which Asif Ali Zardari, the president of Pakistan, and Sharif's family, they were going through, they were also lodged on the basis, on the charges of corruption.
Corruption and corrupt
And
practices, yes.
yeah, they were, they
Our
were, they
history
were,
is replete.
they, yeah, they were being exonerated, they were being cleared by the courts later on. Today, they are in power. Do you think that if we see the history of Pakistan and judiciary, the same is being repeated, or it's only purely, on the basis of corruption that this political party is going through?
Right. Now, you're absolutely right. Our history is replete. And it's not just now that you're talking about President Zardari and the Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif and the former Prime Minister, three-time Prime Minister Mr. Nawaz Sharif. There were cases which were filed against them. But I may also remind you that cases were filed against Hussain Shahid Sohrawardi. Cases were filed against Mujibur Rahman. Cases were filed against many people. Mujibur Rahman is a different case altogether. He was charged for something which I think is the most abhorrible crime against the state, treason. But then cases against all those people, Abdo was put together for political reasons. Yes, prosecution has been used for the purposes of subjugating opposition. But then courts have come to their rescue, haven't they? The gentlemen that you're referring to were exonerated and they were acquitted. So it is not the courts which are to be blamed. It is the prosecution which is to be blamed. The prosecution collects, and this is what you've seen in many cases. The Supreme Court in Khaja Rafiq's case said that what happens is that they arrest somebody and then collect evidence. Now, what we need to do is change those draconian laws, number one. Number two, put together procedures which make prosecution easy and acquittal even easier. And that's what I'm saying is give equal opportunity to both sides and let the courts decide as to whether the charges are correct or not. Now, what happens is that we put together our signatures on Charter of Democracy, for instance. Why can't we sit down and put together a Charter of Tolerance? Charter of Tolerance where we make a pledge that politicians will not use the prosecuting agencies as their tool for the purposes of putting together an onslaught against the opposition. That is what is required. You need to revisit all this. And who will do all this? The Parliament. And Parliament is not just the treasury benches, but also the opposition. So they should all put together. Why can't we have a roundtable conference on this very aspect of what you have pointed out?
Do you
Persecution.
think, sorry, do you think,
Persecution is what is wrong. Sir?
yeah, do you think that practically it is possible when we are, I mean, all these politicians, the political parties and the leadership, they struggle for power. And once they get the power, they want to hold the power for a longer period of time. And they want to eliminate every individual or every idea or ideology which can become a speed breaker in their power execution. So, do you think that it is practically possible that what you are referring to?
I think it is possible, provided there is a will. And I've seen that will in the present government. They made changes in the NAB law. I have seen documents the size of this where they want to put together a brand new way of how the criminal processes will work. I think a lot of hard work is being done by the Ministry of Law, Justice, and the Prime Minister is committed. I know this as a fact that he wants to bring about reforms in such a fashion that an ordinary citizen should also get the benefit of doubt in the same manner as everybody else. And also, there should not be false prosecution. When you put together in your law that whoever prosecutes another person falsely will receive the same punishment for which he had made an allegation against the person that he wanted to prosecute, these things will come to an end. Sir, the need of the hour is reform, and reform for positivity, reform for making life easy for the people. Laws should be made in such a fashion that if you are being prosecuted under that law, you should not feel oppressed and you should not be saying this is persecution. I think that is the way forward. I think that is what the government is trying to do, and this is what the government ought to be doing.
Finally, a couple of questions. Quick one is that do you think that the judiciary is independent at the moment in the country? Secondly, do you think that in the past or as well as in the present or in future as well, the people who interpret the law, I mean the lawyers, the advocates, they do you think that they are equally responsible for misleading either the governments or the judiciary uh, in the past or in present or in future as well. They have the responsibility to be fair enough to guide government as well as the judiciary or the superior or any judiciary in a right perspective.
That's a loaded question. Now, if I was to point a finger to you, am I not pointing three fingers to myself? I So if I say I've done my thing, others are not, I think that's not the answer. I think we all, including the bar associations, we all, including the ministries of law in provinces and also the federal ministry of law, I think all of us, including the judges, all of us, including the prosecutors, all of us, including the defenders of people who are being prosecuted, we all need to sit down and carry out introspection. Look at where we have gone wrong. And I tell you, once we know where we have gone wrong, the answers will be easy. Then you will be in a mode of correction. And correction is, is what is required. Learn from the mistakes, not your own mistakes, not just your mistakes. Look around yourself. See where everybody else has gone wrong. And I'm not going to say that it's all the fault of one particular institution. No, sir. It is like a falling domino situation where a domino falls on the other and it goes on and on. We need to stop playing with the laws. We need to stop playing with the Constitution. We need to sit down, open debate on this. And sir, you and your uh, other anchors of your stature, I think you can play a very, very important role. Let's talk about reforms in the district judiciary. Let's talk about where there are obstacles. Let's talk about speed breakers. Let's talk about obstacles. Let's talk about the various, uh, I would call them wedges, which need to be covered. I think we can all do that, and we can do it today.
My second part was, is the judiciary independent today?
As a lawyer, if I was to say that judiciary is not independent, can I accept a brief from a litigant and say, judiciary is not independent, but I will take your case to that judiciary? No, sir. No, sir. Judiciary is independent, and judiciary is an independent institution. And like I said before, the independence comes from within.
Right.
And the first thing is that you shun all your personal prejudices, personal knowledge, and go by what the record says. Read your facts, go through your facts, read your law, look at precedents, look at binding precedents, and then decide. All judges are extremely honorable. And I tell you, I would, if I was wearing a hat, I would take it off for the judges of the district judiciary. They were harder in most un I tell you unfavorable circumstances. Look at their courtrooms. Go and visit them, sir. Go to Laya, go to Toba Tek Singh, go to Sheikhupura, Nankana Sahab, go to Sakhar, go to Zob, go to Husdar. Look at this, the conditions in which they work. No electricity. And yet they're working. So Concentration on the roots. Save these roots, sir. You will bear the fruits. Your children will bear the fruits of all your efforts that you will be doing starting today. I think that is the way forward.
Sir, it was a pleasure having you on my show. Thank you very much, Ashtar Ausaf, former Attorney General of Pakistan, Senior Advocate of Supreme Court of Pakistan. Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightened discussion and answers. Thank you very much.